So now I will start the presentation of how we understand the domain of training people for compressed air. It will be exactly the same, or just about the same, for steam or ice water. So let us start with compressed air, which we shall write CA, and explain something which is, in my opinion, very important: the vision, the understanding that we have of the knowledge concerning compressed air installations. As I see it, we have some very special and different type of activities and knowledge which are as follow. Some people will be interested by exploitation. So for them, the word which is important is exploit. The installation of compressed air must be run somehow by somebody, you know. So there is some people somewhere who make decisions about how to run every day the compressed air installation. A compressed air installation in a big industry may use 1 or 2 megawatts, you know, and it is usually the people in what we call maintenance, the service of maintenance, or sometimes a energy unit, energy department, who will decide day after day how to run these compressors and over machines for drying compressed air, and the pipe work, which is something sometimes very expensive, you know, and very important for energy consumption of compressors. So exploitation will divide into separate domains. You know, at the beginning I thought that it was easy to stop here, but demands, requests of our clients for services in France showed us that we have at least 2 very different requests for knowledge and for training. Some people want to operate. People who are concerned with operate, maybe either people who work directly for the industrial firm which uses compressor, or some contractors, subcontractors, people from outside who come and run the compressors for the firm, you know, for this industry, for the plant. So the way it is operated might be different from one plant to another, but the actions that have to be carried on, realized actions, you know, are based on some knowledge which is very practical, you know, and also these people are not going to study thermodynamics. They may have information about energy consumption, but probably they will not be very much interested in simulating flows, you know, by means of numeric simulation or whatever, you know. This is well, these people are what I call normally technicians, exploitation technicians, and we have a second way of seeing, having reports, relation with people who are responsible for exploitation, and this is discussing outsourcing. So they may be interested by the verb outsource. I'm not sure if it's a very English word, but well, this is what I heard. And outsourcing is something very, very used. And some people decide and then have an internal hierarchy, you know, and they give orders or give consigne, request for work to colleagues, and some other people will buy from outside and negotiate a contract. So we have such requests and orders from people who wish to best negotiate the orders and prefer to work with external operators. Sometimes they want to get out of a contract and turn back to produce their compressed air themselves. So here it's more actions, and here it's more contracts. Contracts, well, we are interested, of course, only in the technical matters of the contract. We are not sellers or buyers or professional people who will explain how responsibility is taken in insurance. This is not at all our work. What we can see here is that the buyer will have to discuss and negotiate some things which are important and needed for the factory. Simply that. Then there is some type of knowledge which has to do with design. This is, for example, sizing of pipework, sizing of compressors, of dryers, of filters. You know, so we have this very important engineering activity, which might be divided also, of course, but very often you have some project, and you have also the way of realizing the project, you know, the project management. So there are many subtitles here, and I would say that it is not essential here to make such a separation, a division, as it was for exploitation. In the case of exploitation, it is a very, we speak with very different people, you know. Here we may discuss with the same. So far, if we have to make a more precise analysis of what is in design knowledge, it will be done later when we see what is in design. The third point is a point which is important for us. It is what we call audit. Audit or energy studies or assessment. Audit is somehow a third type of knowledge. You know, very often people who operate compressors in a factory are rather more competent and knowledgeable about many aspects as I am. I've been 20 years studying compressor installation and auditing them, but I've never been repairing a compressor. You know, this is not at all my work. I'm not a mechanic. When I have to bring my car to the garage to have it maintained, and so we think that the knowledge used for people who operate compressors, who buy compressed air, are very different from those from who design compressors, and finally are those who audit. The kind of qualities, virtues that we have when we audit for quite a few years, as we do, is that we shall be able to measure. You know, so measurement will be something important here, and then to think about measurement and interpret measurements. But I think that even if internally in my company we have rather different people to make the two jobs, you know, young people to make measurements because it's something very physical, and you have to make hard work in sometimes in places very noisy or very warm, and also people who can look for statistical correlations, you know, or graphical correlations between the measured values. And this is a work which is also specialized, you know? But normally a man can do both things. You know, our young engineers start to be formed as soon as they start to measure, to interpreting the measurement, and they become very skilled. But they may not be very happy to have to write 50 pages of report, you know, because we offer technical reports. This we shall see a bit later. So what could I do more to explain what we can do for you? Maybe I could say that it's not only technique, you know. When I look at the presentation, the content of trainings for compressor, I see that there are essentially two types of trainings, you know, and these will be the 2 points of the next step of our small presentation. Point 1 will be what we call traditional course plan. And so we have seen quite a few of those. Very often, you know, if you take a training from people who who manufacture compressors, air compressors, you will have a certain type of trainings which will be centered on the machine they build, you know. For example, I know a young Italian confrère, people making the same work as we do, about the same work, you know, measurements in Italy, and he worked then for a big company of compressors, and he wanted to measure the water flow because he thought that problems met by the client in the south of Italy were caused by insufficient sizing of the refrigeration towers, you know, the cooling towers, and his responsible said to him, well, we sell compressors, we do not sell cooling towers, so why should I buy an ultrasonic flow meter for water? And they refuted to make this investment. So my friend in Italy, after a while, decided to leave this company and create his own company, trying to be more independent, a bit more independent, maybe. You know, the second point, which we shall see, is what could be our way of making a course plan based on analysis of needs, of what the client needs and wants and his goals. And so this will be all for this course. You know, it's a bit slow because English probably makes it slow for me, and I want to be clear, but we should start to present to you maybe both the courses in the next course.